Mike Sherman, and brace yourself for some OU football crazy talk. I think Landry Jones has got a shot at the Heisman.
That is crazy talk, at least for this year. From the Opepco studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching The Press Row. I'm Jenni Carlson. Mike, I don't think a Heisman candidacy for Landry Jones is out of the question, but not this coming year. Come on, this year?
I'm saying this year, and here's why. These years ago, 2003, at this time of the summer, we were sitting here talking about whether Jason White could be the Trent Dilfer of the Sooners, whether he could be a caretaker quarterback. We had such low expectations for him. Lo and behold, he won the Heisman. He came out of the chute, threw a bunch of touchdown passes in big wins in an impressive non-conference schedule. Sound familiar to anybody? Cincinnati, Florida State. Landry Jones has the stage, a similar stage to what Jason White had in that great season of 2003, similar to what Sam Bradford had in his Heisman year. That's what it's about. Can you perform on the stage? And we've seen Landry Jones play well. Now, not always on the great stage. OU Texas game, he was thrown to the Wolves twice last year against BYU and again against Texas. Not so well, but he comes back another year, and really, Landry Jones is going to have the stage. Does he have the game to make it happen? I say it's not crazy talk.
Well, here's the thing. My doubt isn't so much about Landry Jones because I think he is an emerging quarterback. I think he is probably in that group of, I don't know, maybe 30 players where you're talking about postseason awards right now. But my question is more about what he's got around him. I think there have been improvements on the offensive line. I think there's been some upgrading on the wide receiver core. But those guys need to perform. They need to bring it before we can just say everything's okay. This offensive line a year ago was a huge question mark. Put Sam Bradford in a bad spot to the point that he's injured and re-injured and out for the year. Landry Jones obviously avoided that, but it was a musical chairs of offensive linemen. They've got to get some stability on the offensive line, and oh, by the way, they got to get some wide receivers who actually make sure to catch the ball when it's thrown their way. I think the bigger questions regarding Landry Jones and his candidacy are more about the guys around him than maybe what he's going to bring to the field.
Well, I think one of the big factors is do you have the stage, and also do you have the pass? The University of Oklahoma's football program is always going to put people in the running for college football's biggest awards. They've got the stage, they've got the reputation, and they have the offense. Let's face it, that's a fun, exciting offense that gives a quarterback, that lets the quarterback try to win games. I do think he has the surrounding cast. I do think the offensive line is going to be better, mainly because it couldn't be any worse. And I think Ryan Broyles is a star in the making. Now, who's a security blanket? I think Ryan Broyles, as a slot receiver, is the kind of guy that gives a quarterback comfort. I think you can see him breaking some 8-yard pass patterns into some 68-yard touchdowns. So I think it's there for him. I'm not saying he's going to win, but I think we start this season, we're foolish to discount the idea that he won't have the opportunity.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that he has a chance to win. I think wins are a huge deal when you're talking about Heisman candidacy. And yes, the stage is there, but you have to win a lot of games to be a serious Heisman contender. I could see Landry Jones maybe popping in and out of those watch lists that are out there as the season goes on. But, this is going to have to be a team that either runs the table or maybe loses one game. And I don't necessarily think Oklahoma's quite to that level yet. Maybe they'll make a believer out of me a couple weeks into the season. Maybe they'll show, hey, we've reemerged. We're now that team again. But I still think there are enough questions out there that, like it or not, the Heisman is not only about what you do individually, but what your team does. That weighs into the voting, and that's just the way it is. So Oklahoma's going to have to win a lot of games for Landry Jones to be a serious contender. I think they may still be a year away from that. I think he'll be a serious candidate coming into 2011. But you know what? If he gets on the radar this year, who knows what that could lead to in 11. Hey, stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.